What is up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Nostalgic Video Games That Devoured My Childhood. In today's episode, we're going to talk about yet another lovable mascot that captured the hearts of millions and has walked through a magical land and saved the cute people of not, you know what? Enough of this cute crap. Time to get bloody. Time to get gory. And there's only one place that knows what I want. Ancient Rome. That's right, fellas. Today we're going to talk about Shadow of Rome, my favorite gladiator game ever. So without further ado, strap in, get some snacks, and let's talk about this bloody masterpiece filled with brutal combat and interesting story. In this game, you play as two characters. First, we have Octavianus, the nephew of the late Julius Caesar himself. He is a young man not afraid of asking the right questions and find out the truth about his late uncle's murder. He is not built for combat, and instead relies on sneaking and knocking people out. He can also disguise himself as other people to slip around guards and get access to private areas to gather intel to get one step closer to the big question. Who killed Julius Caesar? Well, that's all well and good, Askarov, but where is the combat? The glory? The bloodshed? Corn is thirsty. Well, fear not, dear viewer. Our next character is all that and more. Meet Agrippa, Roman general, war veteran, and an absolute frickin' unit. He's also the son of the man accused of Caesar's murder, named Vipsanius. You see, to calm everyone down, or rather shift the focus away from Caesar's murder, the Senate decides to hold a gladiatorial tournament, and the winner of the tournament in Rome will have the honor of being Vipsanius' executioner. Agrippa, of course, plans to use his victory to free his father. However, in order to do so, he has to lower himself to being a gladiator, lower than the lowest slave, with a life expectancy of 5 minutes, pitted against his fellow man, beasts, and God knows what else. Well, I would say criminals, not really people, but still people he fought for in the war against the Germanic tribes.
Kill me! You cannot force me to live with this shame! Don't you understand? Honor! We are soldiers! Now finish me! Are you satisfied? Is it really so enjoyable to watch men murder each other like animals?
Now, unlike Octavianus, Agrippa is definitely built for combat. Pick up any weapon, and he can use it with ease. And if no weapon is available, you can just smack him dead with your massive fists, throw them into pitfall traps, or smash them into walls, or even steal their weapons with your raw strength. I wonder if you can tell which one of these characters is my favorite. This game features intense, gory combat, where you can chop off people's arms and use them as weapons. You can chop off their heads to get better ratings from your ask the crowd for a favor. The goal of each match is essentially to score as many points as possible to earn favor from the crowd. And like I previously mentioned, chopping off somebody's head and doing the get the crowd's attention thing gives you more points if you're holding a head. And getting enough of the crowd's favor will give you access to special weapons like massive swords or ornamented spears that do a lot more damage and have a lot better durability. Creativity is the name of the game, and Mercy is for dead men. Once you make it through 3 matches, the game switches to Octavianus to do a stealth section to learn more about the murder of Caesar. Typically, you will try to sneak through a series of areas to find a key or a scroll with details on your next step, but sometimes you also have to tail a specific NPC where they will lead you to a specific location where you will learn even more secrets. You can also collect silver and gold coins that allows you to buy luxuries for yourself, like stuff for your room, costumes, and costumes specifically are very nice because some of them have interesting effects, especially the last one, because the last one allows you to turn into a chameleon, and when you stand still, leaning against a wall, it turns you completely invisible, allowing you to go through the stealth sections with more ease. Though that is more of a New Game Plus thing, because it is quite costly to get. I believe you have to get every other luxury before you can even unlock that, and it makes sense because it is really powerful. After making it through the stealth section, you make it to the arena and do 3 more fights, and then you unlock the boss fight against the arena's champion.
This must be their best fighter, the one saved for last. I cannot die now!
Now, when it comes to boss fights, most of them function as a normal enemy with a larger health pool, and some new attacks or gimmicks are also introduced to make them stand out more. There is also bonus arena challenges that Agrippa can do when he's in the barracks, and when he has earned enough total arena favor, he can unlock different armor for himself that will greatly improve his overall survivability, which is essential on higher difficulties. And beyond fighting men, women, and midgets, you also have arena matches that features break the statues, besiege a castle like a simulation type thing, or even fighting against animals like tigers, vultures, and even freaking elephants. Okay, the boss fight in Africa. It's like you have this like shaman looking dude sitting on top of an ornamented elephant with armored legs, and you have to break these legs in order to actually do damage to the boss. And when you finally kill the boss, the shaman dude starts fighting you as well. And this is a very drawn out fight, but it's so freaking good, and I love every minute of it. It's incredibly difficult, but it's so freaking cool. Well, that about does it for the gameplay and the characters. Now let's get into the game's story.
Pre-Christian era Rome. The empire had grown beyond its means, and the rule of the Senate elders had begun to fray at the edges. The people of Rome were exhausted, continually defending her from hostile neighboring states. As the power struggle ensued in the political arena, the quality of Roman life declined. The empire was racked by chaos. It was then that a great man appeared and changed the fate of Rome. Julius Caesar, the most celebrated hero Rome had ever seen. One after another, disturbances were squelched and discontent alleviated under his competent dominion. With the rule of Julius Caesar, all who inhabited Rome waited hopefully for the coming of the Pax Romana, or peace of Rome. But it was not to last. Despite her citizens' wishes, Rome was once again sucked into the vortex of violence and destruction.
The game begins on March 15th, 44 BC, as Caesar is murdered on his way to the Senate meeting, and as he dies, he utters the infamous quote, "Et tu, Brute," which means "you too, Brutus," roughly. At Caesar's cremation, the senator Cicero reveals the assassin, a soldier named Vipsanius. As Vipsanius pleads his innocence, Cicero announces Caesar's successor, as decreed in his will, Antonius. Listening from the crowd, however, Octavianus, Caesar's nephew, refuses to believe Vipsanius is guilty. Meanwhile, Vipsanius' son, a centurion named Agrippa, receives word of Caesar's death and the accusation against his father, and orders a return to Rome. Soon after the cremation, Octavianus sneaks into the Senate building, where he finds a letter from Vipsanius warning Caesar there are rumors an attempt may be made on his life. On the Senate floor, Maecenas, Antonius' scribe, proposes a gladiatorial tournament, the winner of which will perform Vipsanius' execution. Antonius approves and agrees to have Vipsanius' wife, publicly executed the following day. The execution is presided over by the terrifying and brutal Decius Brutus. Brutus? You see where I'm going with this? Before it can take place, however, Agrippa arrives, but he cannot save his mother, and is then beaten in combat by Decius, with his bare hands, by the way. Before Agrippa can be arrested, however, he and Octavianus are saved by a woman on a chariot who barely has any clothes on. She reveals her name is Claudia, a female gladiator. After an aborted attempt to break Vipsanius out of prison, Claudia tells them about the gladiatorial tournament, and that her brother, Sextus, runs a gladiatorial camp, which Agrippa could join to gain entry to the tournament and possibly save his father. Meanwhile, Octavianus will return to Rome and investigate the murder. Although repulsed by the violence and bloodlust, Agrippa begins fighting his way through the tournament. Meanwhile, Octavianus begins following Cicero's protege, Marcus Brutus, another Brutus, goddamn, in the hopes that he may be the brute of whom Caesar spoke. He overhears a heated conversation between Marcus and Cassius, in which Cassius warns that the truth is going to come out soon and urges Marcus to take responsibility. Soon thereafter, he finds Cassius' body stabbed. Hearing footsteps, Octavianus hides and observes Maecenas ordered the guards to secretly dispose of the body. Meanwhile, Sextus is visited by Iris and Charmaine, who come with a direct order from their mysterious mistress. They want Sextus to assassinate someone, in return for which their mistress will aid his plans. Sextus agrees. Back in Rome, Octavianus finds Cicero stabbed in the Senate. The dying Cicero tells him a group of conspirators are responsible for Caesar's assassination. Vipsanius is innocent. Marcus is a member of the group, but the actual murderer is another Brutus. In the gladiatorial camp, Claudia tells Agrippa that Sextus is the son of Pompeius, who was killed in battle by Caesar, and she explains that he plans to assassinate Octavianus, Caesar's only surviving blood relative, to gain support for his conquest of Rome. Meanwhile, Octavianus locates a note in Caesar's handwriting that reveals Antonius was not his chosen heir. Octavianus then witnesses Decius stabbing Marcus. A dying Marcus tells Octavianus that he is Caesar's illegitimate son and that Decius is the other Brutus. Well, given his demeanor, I would think that was obvious, but anyway. Meanwhile, Agrippa fights his way to the tournament final, where he faces Decius Brutus himself in combat. He wins, and Macanus arrives in the arena, explaining that Antonius was the mastermind behind the assassination, born from his discovery that he was not to be Caesar's heir. Macanus then reveals Caesar's true chosen heir, Octavianus, a man who can actually copy Caesar's voice because he has this weird speaking ability for some reason. It's pretty awesome. A furious Antonius orders Decius to kill Octavianus, but Agrippa intervenes and kills Decius. As Agrippa and Vipsanius are reunited, Antonius is arrested. However, Sextus attacks Rome, and Antonius escapes. Agrippa and Claudia go to confront Sextus, with Agrippa begging him to surrender. But when Antonius attacks the docks, Sextus sacrifices himself to save Claudia, who he adopted as her own daughter. As a battle rages at sea, Agrippa tracks down and kills Antonius in a brutal confrontation. Back in Rome, Agrippa, Octavianus, and Claudia mourn Sextus's passing. She tells them that she is leaving Rome, but will keep an eye on things. Octavianus then vows to fulfill Caesar's dream of the Pax Romana, or Peace of Rome. With Agrippa vowing to help him in any way he can in the epilogue, Iris and Charmaine state it is time to tell their mistress they have reached the end of the beginning. And I can't help but think that that's a cliffhanger for something else. And that about does it for the story. This was an incredibly fun game to revisit and review, from the intense combat to the intrigue of the plot surrounding Caesar's murder. This game has it all when it comes to an amazing gladiator game, and I can't help but think that they wanted to add a sequel to this game regarding this mysterious mistress that is mentioned a couple of times by Iris and Charmaine. However, as far as I know, there was never a sequel to this, and that's a damn shame, because I think a sequel would make this even more legendary. What we got, however, is a truly amazing game that I highly recommend anyone to try out if they can get their hands on a copy, and if they are comfortable with the amount of violence and brutality this game features. Looking back, this may not have been the best game for a kid like me to play when I grew up, but heck, I turned out alright-ish anyways, so who knows. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. It's been your boy Askrod94. Be sure to like the video if you enjoyed it, comment down below what you think, and subscribe if you want more. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye!